Christopher McDonald is the Emmy-nominated guest star of Hacks on HBO Max. I'm David Buchanan with Gold Derby. Christopher, first and foremost, congratulations on your first ever Emmy nomination.
Yeehaw. Thank you, David. And thank you for having me on the show. It's all part of my new it's been a whirlwind since I got the news. So very
yeah,
surprised and grateful.
yeah. Please tell us about how you heard the news, and what does it feel like, this recognition for this role in particular, and at this point in your career?
Well, I was arriving on a plane from Minnesota, and I came down in my we got here early, so we are going to have to sit on the tarmac. So I took my phone out and looked at my, and it was blowing up. I had like 35. Call me now, call me now. I was like, I didn't even know that was the day. So I get the word. I literally in shock, and wow, is this true or someone pranking me, that kind of thing. But anyway, I called the agents and they told me, oh my God, it's true. And then publicist and things like that and manager. And I thought, oh, wow. And such great company, such tremendous actors. As you know, I worked with Nathan Lane and I thought, okay, let me see my chances here. Nathan Lane's been nominated 7 times. Susan Lucci thing he's got going on. So he's probably got the shot. But the other guys, I love watching Ted Lasso. And, it was a shock. And then my whole drive home in my Uber, I'm just connecting with people. And then all the love poured in. Yeah, I've been doing this a while, and this is nice to get this, not nice, it's amazing to get this kind of recognition. So I am, well, to use an overused phrase, I'm over the moon, actually. It's just fantastic. And I live in a land of gratitude. So
yeah, it's so well deserved. The series is phenomenal, and Marty is such a fun character to watch over the 2 seasons so far. I wanted to ask you, you submitted the season finale on the Emmy ballot, the one, the only, which is such a great episode in general, and you have some great scenes in it. So I wanted to ask you, why that episode over the few that you had this season? What was it about that episode in particular that appealed to you?
You get to see the whole relationship in that episode, because you see there's connection, there's frustration, there is everything with her outbidding me for this thing that my wife to be. Then I have such still such love for Deborah that I didn't want to tell her, but that woman you met the first episode we're getting married. And that was a hard thing to do, because I had asked her to marry me in Monaco a while back, and she kind of like, tossed it off. But I didn't know that until we got back to the States, I guess. But we'll always have Monaco. Anyway, it was hard, because it was a moment where you see that chemistry, the frustration, you sit down and then you just go, I. And then she surprises me and says, I will give you an $800,000 sketch on paper for a night back. And not even a night, but for a chance to go back. And no, I can't let you back in. The corporate says no. Then the other, no, just one night. And I'm like, wow. Anyway, so to confess that I'm going to marry this woman who's of appropriate age, got her thinking a little bit. And just working with Jean Smart is, I should just playing off of Jean Smart. She's got the comic genius and a heart as big as Texas. So we have strong feelings for each other as Marty and Deborah, but we also as Chris and Jean. And I mean, she really is. She's one of the special people. So that's why I wanted to put that one in, because that's really one-on-one. And there's a lot of things at stake and at play there. And she just busts my cojones all the time she can, which is why I love her. And I tend to make her laugh too. So it's a great relationship.
Yeah, you touched on so many of the things I want to ask you about, but I think you're so right on why this episode is so good, because it really captures all the kind of complexity of the 2 characters' relationship. And I want to ask you about a few of those scenes in particular. So take us into that auction room and shooting that scene, because it's so fun and it's so fast paced. And I'm sure the timing, between you and Jean and the auctioneer, getting that kind of technically to work as well as it does, is probably harder than it looks. So take us inside that room.
It was hard. It was something we were rehearsing and going, wait, the numbers don't match up here. And it's tricky. You got to get back to her, to come to me, to go to him, to go to the thing. So we just we didn't do the halfway mark. We didn't go like, 650, 675. And heck with that. Let's go with 0 numbers to make it simple, because the joke is 800. What? Are you out of your mind? And I'm done. And and that's what's really fun. But we did work on it. It took us a minute or two to get that whole machine working, because when it's cut together so beautifully as it was, it's machine gun fire, which is great. And then you cut right to the restaurant. But it was tricky, and all those wonderful extras that were there, and the guy that was the auctioneer was a pro, and it was a lot of fun, but it was a little technically challenging, but we got it.
Yeah, I can imagine. And you mentioned this a moment ago, but that restaurant scene between the two of you, just talk about kind of broadly talk more about working with Jean Smart, because I just love the dynamic between the characters. And it's so, your character in particular can be very kind of ruthless, but there is, as you said, real genuine care and affection for Deborah. So just talk about, working with Jean, who's really, I think, at the top of her game in this show.
I totally agree. She is she puts the Jean in genius. She's that good. You know what I mean? She's just playing off of her. She has so much right there, right. And she's not like walking through anything. And that's why I love playing with. We both give each other as much as we can. And I really enjoyed that in the first season, because, she went through a lot of stuff that was really hard. I'd be hugging her for the loss of her husband. At the same time, she'd go right in, total pro. And I thought, man, I hope to be like you. That's how great she is. And so that kind of connection is amazing. The chemistry is off the hook, because, we've known each other over the years. And as Marty, even, I was Chris, we played each other with each other on the show we talked about earlier, Harry's Law and things like that. And she just knocks it out of the park everywhere. So it was such a delight to be asked to come and play Marty. But the background being that she's been my tent pole at the Hotel Palmetto for 25 years, and to give her that news in the first season was very hard to do. And but she just handled it, and basically wanted my head on a platter. But working with Jean is just an absolute joy. We giggle off camera, and then we start rolling, and then we just kind of play the scene as it should be played. And we also surprise each other, which is nice. And the way she just digs at me. All right, good. I got it. All right. My fiance is too young. Enough. You done? Things like that. So it's very natural, and it's such a joy to play with that kind of fun and levity in the scene that also has such depth and heart and heartbreak in it at the same time, because I think we'd be a pretty good match, and I should be with her, I think. So I'm hoping something like that comes up in season 3. I don't know, it's crazy.
Let's talk about where your character is going in season 2, because your arc in these episodes is really around this age appropriate, as you said, match for Marty, his new girlfriend and now fiance. When you read that first script and you read that you see Deborah at the UFC fight, which is a surprise, and then have to tell her the news that you have a new girlfriend who's around your age, was it as surprising to you as an actor as it was to the characters to see the direction Marty's going in?
Yeah, that was very interesting. Good point, because he usually does date girls like half his age, if not more. Like the last. When I married, yeah, she was 12. That was just too young. Anyway, no, it's just the fact that the great writing, of Jen Statsky and Lucia and Paul is just, they sit together, they know each other, they do it like a machine. They really work at it, and they just go for the most fun and interesting things. So for me to find that out, to answer your question, was shocking to a certain extent. I said, oh, this will be interesting. And then I met the actress, and she's lovely, and she did it with a French accent. So this is formidable. And so I said, and the whole scene was fun, but the look on her face and the look on my face, like, wow, this is awkward. I didn't think you'd be here. You don't like looking at men's feet, bare feet. So this is, wow, where is that girl of mine? She's here. And then the look like the lovely Mara saying, wow, she's old. That kind of thing just makes me laugh. It was really funny. So I could see where it was going, but I don't know where it's going to go after this. I've heard hints of this and that and the other thing, but It's just really, really fun writing. And then I look back and forth. I steal a look at her here and there, and I just go, okay. And then she has that formidable thing where she goes right like, you're gonna go in there, you're gonna kick his ass, and you're gonna, yeah, you're advanced now. And it's so great. And she's standing, the blood goes on her face. What a great episode. It was a great way to kick off the season. So
yeah, I imagine that was so much fun to shoot too in that, in that room with that crowd. I mean, that must have been such a blast to shoot.
It was a little bit crazy because, it was cavernously big down in Long Beach, California. We shot it in the big convention center, and they had it done in such a way that was perfect, where they can move the people around without getting too crazy and put them on different clothes. And the cage was the real deal. And what's really interesting, here's an inside scoop. They, because you guys get a little tougher with each other, these two guys in the ring, and they ultimately said, let's just fight, which was really intense. And that's why that scene is like, it just took it to another level. And they can take a punch and they can give a punch, and it was wonderful. So I was like, whoa, watching that happen. I mean, cut together beautifully also.
Yeah, there's a great shot of you when there's that turn in the fight after Deborah gives him that pep talk, and there's a great shot of your reaction. It's so fun and so well shot and so well put together. Yeah. You mentioned earlier too, the writing is just so incredible, and you also alluded to this scene I wanted to ask you about. You're not in it, but Marcus and Deborah are talking about the time, as you said, where Marty proposes to Deborah in Monaco, and she doesn't take it seriously. It's such a revealing scene, and I love these kind of little bit of breadcrumbs we get from the writers about the back history of the character. So I wanted to ask you, how much of their backstory do you know, by talking to Paul and Jen and Lucia, and how much have you filled in for yourself?
Well, as an actor, you got to fill a lot of the stuff in for yourself. So I go for that whole period that we had romantic interludes between her marriages and my marriages. And I just love the woman. I just think she's great to be around and just a joy to hang out with. And when we got drunk over in Monaco, it was something that it was swept us up. Okay. So then it comes back, and then she says, oh, no, here's the ring back. I'm not doing that. And it was like, okay. All right. Okay. And we'll stay friends. This will be fine. And that stuff you can build into it. But as far as knowing where it's going, it's always a surprise. What's on the first page, and go, oh, yeah. Oh, because they just surprise you the heck out of you. It's just great. You go, yes, I can go there. That'll be fun. And I talk to them about it, and they tell me little tidbits here and there, because they're still formulating, as you know, 3. But I'm just so delighted. There was so much what I call Emmy love going on in these 8 episodes. I mean, there's 4 guest starring actresses from that show. I mean, what? They're all, each one, fantastic. I applaud them. I applaud our people, the crew behind the scene. Our Kathleen, who does our wardrobes, making it look like $1 million, and our DP, and the crew is really just, it's money, as they say. So, so thank you to HBO and just having me on this whole thing. And I just love the arc. I wanted to do more, of course. There were little things, but they keep Marty in there. They drop him in with a little golf shot thing. She does that joke about, oh, anyway, it's funny. It's just it's really good writing. And that makes all the difference in an actor's life, because a lot of times we have to work harder when it's not as good writing, but the writing is so wonderful here. We have to live up to it and then take it as far as we can.
Yeah, speaking of the ensemble, all these incredible guest actresses, as you said, and the series regular cast is so good. And you share so many scenes with Jean, which is obviously for the viewers so much fun to see. But I'm sure there are other characters and actors in the cast that you would love to share more scenes with. So who comes to mind as a pairing of Marty and, what other characters are you just like dying to interact and kind of trade barbs with?
Well, I think with Hannah, I would love to be with Hannah, because she is such a riot. Their connection is just a jewel to watch. And I love how it ended on the first season. I'm watching the first season and I'm crying, because look, I'm letting you go because you're too good. And that's what happened in the second season. It becomes a fruition. You're fired. Again, I'm crying, because it's out of love that she does that. I'm not going to hold you back. You're bigger than this. You go on your own journey. You can't quit because you're too good, that kind of thing. Oh my God, it's beautiful writing, and it really gets you, and it really gets the hook in. You want to see what's going to happen, how they're going to get back together, because we're going to have Hannah back. She's just she's the it girl, and so I'd love to work with her character, and I'd also love to look. I'd like to work with Amy. I think they're also funny. The whole household staff. I don't know how they'd work Marty into it. Like something like, maybe Deborah gets hurt or something. And like, no, but she's got the thing and we got to do it now. And then I come over to the house and I have to deal with them because they're very funny people. And, but most of my stuff is with Jean. And if it stayed that way, I'd be, pinch me time anyway, because she's such a jewel.
Yeah, the series opens, one of the first scenes in the series is you and Jean, as you're saying, you have to break the news that she's losing her marquee dates. So just talk about, now that you're reflecting on, 2 seasons and a third on the way, what was it about this show, the first scripts and this character that really appealed to you? Because you've done so many incredible roles over your career. And this one really stands out. But what stood out to you on the page when this script first came to you?
Well, the fact that it showed Marty as a kind of a duplicitous guy. He's got a job to do at the same time. This is his friend, and let's all make it nice and fun. And then, wouldn't it be great? Hey, this just came to me. Wouldn't it be great if you just did 5 shows a week rather than the 7? Great for who, she says. Cracks me up. And so you get that whole dynamic of, okay, I've got to be that guy who's got to speak for my board, who has to tell her the deal. And we shot that scene, and she just got more upset every time around. And but at the same time, 25,000 shows she did. I mean, she's like, move over, Celine, choke on that. It was kind of really funny, just that kind of thing. But I can understand, like, you can't take away my weekends. There's no way. Those are only the biggest nights of the week. What's the matter with you, Marty? But I kind of get the kids in. They're gonna, I still remember there was like, anyway, it was challenging because I knew where it was going, and then we added. I think it was Paul Downs that just say, comp the room, and just walk away. Like, what am I gonna do? These people yelling, there was a cockroach in my dinner. Oh God, so funny. And I had a couple ad libs out there. I didn't use it, but it was like, Deborah Vance, ladies and gentlemen, Monday through Thursdays. As if she was leaving. So we had to dig at each other. I didn't use it, but at the same time, it was funny. And maybe I'll make the outtakes one day. But it was challenging. It was actually really fun because I have such genuine great feelings for Jean and she as Deborah. I just you manifest that in your head and you go, this is it. They've known each other forever. This is a hard one. So let's see how good you are, Marty, because it's not the first dance you have to do, but not with this woman. This woman's tough. So she gave it right back to me, big time. It was fun.
Before I let you go, Christopher, I just have to ask, you teased a little bit that they've given you maybe some idea of where season 3 is going. Is there anything you can share with us? And if there isn't anything, if you're going to get in trouble, and we don't want you to get in trouble, is there anything you hope for Marty in season 3? Where do you hope to see the character go?
Very good question. I might get fired for saying this. No, I'm kidding. I think what happens is, and this is exactly what I would like to see happen. I get hoodwinked, if that's the right word, by my betrothed, and find out that there's some duplicitous stuff going on, and I just kind of blow up, and I just go to my best friend. I go, what the hell? What's with you women? How does this happen? That's why I date girls that are, half my age. I can control them. But this one. So I'm thinking like something like that is coming. And that just suits me fine because that gives me more scenes with Jean and more, you can see the depth of their relationship even more because they go back. I mean, I talked her out of a couple of doofus husbands. And one of these guys, in the town, they like the blonde. Hey, like the good looking blonde. Yeah, come over to my table. It's kind of like that, it's Vegas, baby. So I'm delighted they're coming back for the 3rd season to be in Vegas based, which will give me more access and perhaps more fun scenes with her. And I just hope that there's that kind of friendship that just keeps on, that it has barbs and I go to her for advice because I'm just I'm at the wit's end kind of a thing. So that's what I hope. And I hope they get to play with the other cast, which is a very good question because they're all so wonderfully cast. And kudos to our Emmy nominated casting directors. And it's all good. So Thank you.
Well, Christopher McDonald, congratulations again on the Emmy nomination. Congrats on the second season of Hacks. And thanks so much for talking to Gold Derby.
My pleasure, David. Thanks for having me.